Chapter 1 of The Romantic Adventures of a Milkmaid. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Alison Veldis. The Romantic Adventures of a Milkmaid by Thomas Hardy. Chapter 1. It was 4:30, by the testimony of the land surveyor, my authority for the particulars of this story, a gentleman with the faintest curve of humour on his lips. It was 4:30 on a May morning in the 1840s. A dense white fog hung over the valley of the Exe, ending against the hills on either side. But though nothing in the vale could be seen from higher ground, notes of different kinds gave pretty clear indications that bustling life was going on there. This audible presence and visual absence of an active scene had a peculiar effect above the fog level. Nature had laid a white hand over the creatures ensconced within the vale, as a hand might be laid over a nest of chirping birds. The noises that ascended through the pallid coverlid were perturbed lowings, mingled with human voices in sharps and flats, and the bark of a dog. These, followed by the slamming of a gate, explained, as well as eyesight could have done, to any inhabitant of the district, that Dairyman Tucker's under-milker was driving the cows from the meads into the stalls. When a rougher accent joined in the vociferations of man and beast, it would have been realized that the dairy farmer himself had come out to meet the cows, pail in hand, and white pinafore on; and when, moreover, some women's voices joined in the chorus, that the cows were stalled, and proceedings about to commence. A hush followed, the atmosphere being so stagnant that the milk could be heard buzzing into the pails, together with occasional words of the milkmaids and men. "Don't ye abide about long upon the road, Margery. You can be back again by skimming time." The rough voice of Dairyman Tucker was the vehicle of this remark. The barton gate slammed again, and in 2 or 3 minutes a something became visible, rising out of the fog in that quarter. The shape revealed itself as that of a woman, having a young and agile gait. The colours and other details of her dress were then disclosed. A bright pink cotton frock, because winter was over, a small woollen shawl of shepherd's plaid, because summer was not come, a white handkerchief tied over her head-gear, because it was so foggy, so damp, and so early, and a straw bonnet and ribbons peeping from under the handkerchief, because it was likely to be a sunny May day. Her face was of the hereditary type among families down in these parts, sweet in expression, perfect in hue, and somewhat irregular in feature. Her eyes were of a liquid brown. On her arm she carried a withy basket, in which lay several butter rolls and a nest of wet cabbage leaves. She was the Margery who had been told not to bide about long upon the road. She went on her way across the fields, sometimes above the fog, sometimes below it, not much perplexed by its presence, except when the track was so indefinite that it ceased to be a guide to the next stile. The dampness was such that innumerable earthworms lay in couples across the path, till, startled even by her light tread, they withdrew suddenly into their holes. She kept clear of all trees. Why was that? There was no danger of lightning on such morning as this. Though the roads were dry, the fog had gathered in the boughs, causing them to set up such a dripping as would go clean through the protecting handkerchief like bullets, and spoil the ribbons beneath. The beech and ash were particularly shunned, for they dripped more maliciously than any. It was an instance of woman's keen appreciativeness of nature's moods and peculiarities. A man crossing those fields might hardly have perceived that the trees dripped at all. In less than an hour she had traversed a distance of 4 miles, and arrived at a latticed cottage in a secluded spot. An elderly woman, scarce awake, answered her knocking. Margery delivered up the butter, and said, "How is Granny this morning? I can't stay to go up to her, but tell her I have returned what we owed her." Her grandmother was no worse than usual, and receiving back the empty basket, the girl proceeded to carry out some intention which had not been included in her orders. Instead of returning to the light labours of skimming time, she hastened on, her direction being towards a little
Sample complete. Ready to continue?